Alrighty, guys. We're going to pop on here with the Ohio account as well as the Great Lakes account here. We got a couple of things to discuss in Ohio. Looks like Indiana is going to miss this, although there's some warnings down here by Louisville. We're not going to be too concerned about those, though. They're moving out of the state momentarily into Kentucky, but we do have three warnings actually for this line that is currently pushing eastward, northeastward, through western Ohio here. So these warnings are going to be in effect, pulling out the radar Omega here. It's going to be for Crawford and Wyandotte and also Marion counties until 8:30 p.m. This is going to be for quarter size hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then we have another warning down here. This is going to be for the same hazard, 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as 1-inch hail. This is going to be an observed hail threat as well. So we're seeing quarter-size hail confirmed with this storm. This is going to be for the counties of Clark, Champaign, and Miami counties. All right, so we're going to hop on here. Just got a new SWS, which is a special weather statement issued here for main areas here. It doesn't have any counties, but for West Liberty area, just south of Bellefontaine, heading toward North Lewisburg. The hazard with this is going to be 45-mile-per-hour winds as well as penny-size hail. So we're going to hop on here just for a brief time here and discuss this just a minute as these storms fire up here, 7:55 Eastern time. These will move through the state here as a line of storms, which could pose some severe risk tonight. Overall threat will be damaging winds and large hail, but there is also a small concern for a tornado being possible, particularly up here in these northern storms. So we'll watch that close. Not expecting this to get too out of hand. Should just be a regular, strong to severe thunderstorm moving through. Places like Bucyrus, Upper Sandusky, Marion, and this warning here, Martell, Big Island, Greencamp, LaRue. Down here for this warning, heading in toward Urbana, Westville, Eris, Millerstown, West Liberty, North Lewisburg, Milford Center, and Marysville. This is going to be moving to the northeast at roughly the speed of 30 miles per hour. So not too much in the way of concern with this, but we'll watch it here for a few. Looking on the tracker of wind velocity and such, there's a few areas in here that would get us more so concerned for maybe some hail falling, but we're not seeing anything in the way of too much of rotation with these. So these will remain pretty much subtle, expected to remain subtle at least through the evening here in terms of that tornadic threat. Overlaying the SPC graphic for you guys so you guys know where these risks are. These are just about to move into the higher risk here in yellow. We can zoom out. This is going to be your slight risk here as these storms are just entering the better environment as they push eastward here. And that tornado threat, I'm not sure if they updated that since noon. That's the last time I looked at it. If we overlay that quickly, there you go. That northern storm, they haven't really changed it much. But as these storms move into this green zone here, we'll have a small concern here for a tornado to possible. Mansfield down to Columbus, Cleveland, Youngstown, Akron, Canton areas would be of the biggest concern. It's a low chance, but it's a possibility. We've got to mention that. Go ahead and top that off. Biggest risk here is going to be damaging winds as well as large hail. I'm going to pop off 1 second and grab my fan just because I'll be on here for a minute. I want to have a cooling mechanism so I don't get too hot. I'll be right back, guys. Give me like 2 seconds. All right, got that. What's a stream without a fan? When you're sitting in front of your computer in one spot and talking consistently, I get hot, especially when it's summertime out. So had to get that fan. We're good to go now. So not too much right now going on with these storms, but if they do start acting funny, we'll be here tracking. Looking at the future model here, and to look into the future, basically, according to the model, we're going to have those storms pop up. This one actually doesn't really have much in the way of anything happening with this line, so the model doesn't really have a good handle on. Let's go back 1 hour here. There we go. We got some pop-ups there. Those are going to continue through the east part of Ohio. That looks like a pretty good indication what's going to happen. Will this storm hit Cleveland? Looking back at radar here, I think it's going to stay south of Cleveland. Unless something pops up here, which it looks like there could be near just south of Norwalk here. But otherwise, for now, you're fine. The main line that we're watching down here does not look to be impactful for Cleveland. But if stuff pops up here, which is a possibility, that could track your way. The severe storms down here, I'm thinking they're going to track just to the south of Cleveland. Yes, we talked about the potentially active period here on the live stream earlier today. Would go check that out if you haven't already. Looks like we got some rotation with this storm just north of Millerstown. Because we have the radar down here. Reds are going away from the radar, and greens are coming toward the radar. So we may have a little bit of rotation picking up down here on the Dayton radar. We're going to watch that as it evolves. Just north of Millerstown near Rosewood and Crayon, heading toward the West Liberty area. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Looking at our other radars around, we're not seeing that too much here, just a little bit of rotation there in the upper levels. So what that basically means is these radars down here, the one I'm circling right here, is a couple thousand feet in the atmosphere. But this radar right here out of Dayton Airport is definitely a lower beam here. So the lower beam in the atmosphere is detecting some, it could be, it looks to be some rotation here, but being that it's not in the upper levels just yet, it wouldn't tell me it's that organized, but it does bear watching here. It does have that structure to kind of keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. We're going to keep an eye on that storm. Again, that's heading in toward West Liberty. So other areas are going to be Spring Hills, Crayon, Salem Ridge, Lippincott, Northville. Anywhere between those areas are going to be an immediate concern. Nothing warned at this point, just something we're going to watch there. One warning still in effect here. And take back our Cleveland radar for this. These are going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as 1-inch hail. Again, not seeing too much on velocity that indicates anything too concerning. Let's go ahead and pop on the hail tracker with this. And there you go. Just a bit of hail showing up there. Had a really good, really strong signal here by Kenton. But now it looks like it's a little bit weaker, but still got two areas here of pockets, or should I say, potential hail. So we'll be tracking those just south of Upper Sandusky. Going to split Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, looks like. But if you live in between those areas, Nevada, Seal, we'll go ahead and say Broken Sword. It's outside the warning, but would be in the path of this. Brownstown, Harpster, you guys would be in that particular concern. What's up, Lynn? We're not going to ignore this storm down here, though, towards Bellefontaine and West Liberty, just because that, okay, looks like it's, okay. Latest scan isn't too concerning, but we'll watch that close. It's a 4-minute between scan there, so okay, we'll watch that. There's our latest scan, okay, which is good news. It's weakening. Didn't really want to see that strengthen, but we'll watch that area still, regardless, just because it does appear to be rotating just a bit. Popping down the line here, nothing again concerning with the velocity on these. Check out, we're not really, or Kentucky's not really our coverage area, but Cincinnati is a pretty good population center down here. Could get some gusty winds heading that way, but that's about it. They're crossing into Kentucky as we speak from Indiana, so no concern with these for our coverage area. This is going to be near Mansfield here, Bellefontaine, Mansfield, Dayton vicinity here in Ohio. I know some guys pop on here and think that we're streaming for Michigan. This is not Michigan. Michigan doesn't have a risk today at all. This is going to be strictly for what appears to be Ohio and then also Kentucky, but Kentucky is not in our coverage area. If you're seeing this and you're an avid follower of Michigan Storm Chasers, we do have this regional account that we cover out of state severe weather, which is why we're live right now. Yeah, the breeze is nice for sure. What's up, AM? Texas seeking shelter. I mean, yeah, it looks like there's a couple areas down here just north of Austin that would indicate that there's a tornado warning here. There's a severe, this whole thing is severe warned. But yeah, it depends on where you're at. But it looks like there's a lot going on here in Texas. One warning back here just south of San Angelo as well. So pretty active day looks like in Texas, that's for sure. Over here in Louisiana as well, looks like we got some warnings as well into Arkansas. So pretty active day down there. This line is picking up steam. Checking out the latest storm relative velocity. I'm going to check out that area just a bit. Off the T-Day radar. We're going to see what it looks like. Are we old? Nope, 1 minute old. Okay. Again, not too much to be concerned about there. Just that one warning still up here. 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail, Wyandotte, Marion, and Crawford counties until 8:30. So another 25 minutes. Yes, Michigan has been quite windy all day here. My peak gust at my station here in Lenawee, southeast Michigan, was peaking at 18 today. And I am boxed in with houses and such. So likely got up to 25, 30 in spots across the state, probably a little bit higher in some areas. I know we had some thunderstorm gusts that came in via our report bot that we have on Twitter. New severe warning just been issued, just popped in here. You see it blinking, that indicates it just got issued. This is going to be for Logan, Union, and Hardin counties until 8:30 p.m. Gust up to 60 miles per hour, as well as quarter-size hail. Both of these are radar indicated, so nothing confirmed, but radar does indicate, according to the National Weather Service, that these are severe storms heading up toward LaRue, Mount Victory, Byhalia, West Jackson, Essex, Woodland. I believe I already said Mount Victory, over Ridgeway. It's going to be heading up into LaRue and likely going to be into this other warning here. So other areas, New Bloomington, Green Camp, again, Marion back in that as well, though it's already in a warning right now for gusty winds, severe winds, as well as that large hail threat. Let's take a peek back down here at that storm near Bellefontaine. It did show what appeared to be some signs of low-level rotation for a brief second there. Although that looks like it's turning into a more gusty wind threat. Wouldn't be shocked if they issue a warning, although it's really localized. So it's getting bigger there the next scan. So if you're in West Liberty area, it could have some gusty winds. Doesn't look to be severe, but it is picking up steam right around 50 or so in that localized pocket, just north of Northville here, heading up toward West Liberty, if not going to cross just south of West Liberty. Zooming out and taking a peek at the other radars in the area. These storms down here are not severe. They're not statemented or anything like that, but you could see some small hail, some gusty winds, although not seeing anything concerning as far as heavier pockets of wind. Maybe down here, just south of Harrison, about to cross into just right north of the Ohio River there by Cincinnati, Lawrenceburg area. Excuse me. And these storms are actually popping. I know somebody asked about Cleveland earlier. There are some pop-ups here developing heading towards Cleveland now. These do have some severe potential with them near Norwalk and also just north of Mansfield here. They'll move off toward the Cleveland area next hour or so. So if you're in Cleveland, be on alert. Nothing severe, but they do pose that low risk, especially if you are, we'll say, more so South Cleveland at this point. I think the closer you get to the lake, the less instability you have. So, Tanya, nothing for Michigan tonight. Michigan will have the next risk Friday afternoon and evening. In fact, we just posted a forecast for Friday afternoon and evening on Michigan Storm Chasers page. So if you want to go check that out, it should be the latest post and also the pin post. All right, new warning just got issued. See it flashing there. New feature we just turned on. So you get to know when new warnings come in. This is going to be for Crawford County until 9 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour winds, as well as quarter-size hail. Most all of Crawford County here, just leaving out the very northeast or northwestern tip, Benton, Likens, Plankton. You guys are outside that area of concern, but if you are anywhere else in Crawford County, you need to be inside, away from windows. Bucyrus, North Robinson. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Crestline, Tyro, New Washington, Chatfield, Broken Sword, Sulphur Springs, Ridgeton, Mechanicsburg, Waynesburg, Gardner. You guys all need to be inside, away from windows. These storms are producing a lot of lightning, large hail, as well as damaging winds. And even some brief rotation is possible with these storms, although we're not seeing that currently. It would, I just have to kind of mention that as a possibility just because there is that low risk. So we're going to watch them close, but it shouldn't be too big of a concern, but we're going to watch. Lynn, actually, we do have most of our chasers from Michigan Storm Chasers do chase out of state. We only have one or two. We actually have two chasers who are not affiliated with Michigan Storm Chasers, who are strictly for Great Lakes. We have Freddie, and then we have Caleb, who is also on staff with us. So Freddie's our chaser, and then Caleb is a staff member, but he also chases. Freddie bounces all around the United States chasing storms, anywhere from Colorado, Kansas, Texas, Michigan, and then Caleb is stationed out of Indiana. Gonna pop back down here and take a peek at that gusty wind we had there. Yeah, this is actually becoming more of a localized pocket here. Wouldn't be shocked if they slap a warning on this for gusty winds. Looking on the tracker here, it's still below severe limits, but these are really close to the ground. This radar beam is, I don't have GR2 with me, so I can't give you an exact number, but the radar is likely only a couple hundred feet off the ground here. Indicating these winds are on the surface. So wouldn't be shocked if we're mixing down close to severe winds here near West Liberty. I'm going to expect they're going to put a warning on this if this continues. Unfortunately, that radar doesn't really go too far out north. We're going to have to rely on the Cleveland radar here for these northern storms. I am in northeastern Crawford. What's up, Sherry? Luckily, depending on where you're at, up by Likens, Benton, this northwestern corner of Crawford is not a concern. Northeastern, though, you are in that warning. I thought you said northwestern. It's my bad. But yeah, northeastern, I'm assuming by like Tyro, New Washington area, you're in that warning here. The storm is heading your way. It does indicate that there's likely some large hail falling at the very least, probably some gusty winds as well, but I'd be more concerned with the hail risk just because this coloration you're seeing is what we call VIL or hail tracker. And this is moving right up, I'm assuming your general vicinity. Tracking that, it's moving right up just north of Bucyrus here, going to cross Route 4, probably between Broken Sword and Bucyrus. Heading toward Ridgeton, Brandywine, Sulphur Springs. Basically going to ride just north of 98, if you know where that's at. A bit of a tail. We're kind of watching for some rotation. Nothing that we're seeing right now, but it does, I can see what you're talking about here, kind of like an inflow notch here and a little bit of a tail, although we're not seeing anything on our velocity that indicates it's rotating. In fact, not seeing anything at all as far as rotation-wise, so that's good news. Let's try this radar down here just to be safe. And that's farther away. So, and that's also not picking up anything. So luckily not seeing any rotation for you. But I will say that the winds are picking up here on the latest scans. So a straight line wind type of damage or straight line wind concern, I guess, would go up here. Getting pockets in here. There's a 62. And remember, 58 is your severe criteria. So 62 would match severe criteria. But again, this radar beam is a couple thousand feet off the surface, so we're not actually getting a good look at what's happening down in the low levels. Yep, Brent, staying busy, staying busy. When Michigan's not in a threat, we try to hop on here as best we possibly can for our friends in Indiana and Ohio, and sometimes Illinois and Wisconsin as well. Going to take a peek back down where those winds are picking up near West Liberty. Yeah, these are actually continuing to strengthen here as they push further east. We're getting, up to 51 now. We're getting close here, guys. So again, wouldn't be shocked if they slap a warning on this one too. That'd be more so for North Lewisburg, Middleburg, Valley High, Raymond, Peoria, Marysville. Likely those areas would be included in that. But again, I don't issue the warnings. That's not in my control. I'm just telling you guys what I see via radar wind velocity. I don't sleep, Brent. I am no, I'm kidding. I slept 4 to 10 or so, 4 to 11. It's about 6 or 7 hours. And if you're living in Cleveland area, we got some pop-ups heading your way that are developing quite rapidly. Wouldn't be shocked if these turn into something severe, although I think the risk is lower up to the north, but still the environment would be favorable. Yeah, for now, Jazz, just me. I don't think the guys are going to hop on here. They're all kind of resting, taking a break, and plus this channel is more of a my idea type of thing. So you'll probably see Joel on here a few times. You'll probably see Caleb on here a few times. May have, if you guys know who Drew and Ben are, they may pop on a few times, but for the most part, you'll see me on here 95% of the time. New scan coming in here. Let's see what this suggests. Here it comes. And these storms continue to strengthen up here. We're going to mention that first. Heading up in toward Elraya, Strongsville, Wellington. So basically just western suburbs of Cleveland. So also got some pop-ups on the lake up here near Lorain, Avon Lake. These should remain offshore. We're gonna stay focused on what's down here and what's to come. Although this one, I do see that it's developing this weird tail, and inflow is picking up in the storm. So we're gonna watch this closely. The tail, it did grow a tail here. Not all tails are, concerning, but this one does look like it's merged. And what that basically means here is we could have some rotation building as inflow surges in and other air wraps around. The combination gets a little bit of spin in here. Not seeing that just yet on radar, but it does remain a possibility here. We are seeing some increased velocities for that. This one is still not warned down here. Let's take a peek down here near West Liberty. This one has pockets of heavier wind. Looks like it's trying to gust out there. That's good news. So I had a couple pockets, good about 5 or 6 scans here of some heavier winds. And now it looks like it's either coming out the other end here or it's weakening. Let's see if that matches here. No, it doesn't. So that looks to be no longer a concern. SWS is on that storm, though, for 45-mile-per-hour winds. I guess that's valid. We had 45. We had some 50s in some spots there. So I guess that's valid there. Let's go ahead and focus back up here on the Cleveland area. Take a little bit, not Cleveland, but the northern mode area near Bucyrus. Seeing some nice lightning off Bucyrus's way. It's over Bucyrus. The heaviest is just off to the west of downtown near Nevada. Looking at our hail tracker, there you go. Nevada is getting the worst of what looks to be the worst of the hail. I can't tell you how big it's going to be, but I can tell you it's warned for quarter-size hail, and that can dent your cars, crack windshields, may do some siding damage as well, especially with wind driving this as well. If there's any heavier pockets of wind that could blow that hail around, we call it wind-driven hail. It could be a concern. So it's heading in toward Bucyrus to the west side of town there. It's about to cross up toward Route 4 near Broken Sword, New Washington, Chatfield, Tyro, Sulphur Springs area. You guys need to be inside. We're also going to watch the storm. Just going to watch it. I'm not saying there's rotation with it, but it merged with this other storm back here. They kind of seem separate here. They decided to merge together. When they did, what looks to be a tail end or a type of hook may be developing back here. Hopefully, it's just part of the merger process and it will be nothing to worry about, but it could definitely lead to something here. We're going to watch. Nice looking storm near Shelby or southwest of Shelby. Where is Shelby at? I think these are the storms we're talking about here, Brent. I know. Yeah, there it is. So, yep, there's the Bucyrus storm. That's what we're talking about. I actually chased a storm back in 2019 in Shelby. I was right behind a tornado, April 14th. I started my day down here by Dayton and chased that storm. It was going so fast, couldn't keep up. I missed the tornado, but I was right behind it as it went into Shelby. I believe that was rated EF2, if I'm not mistaken. Did some pretty good damage in the town. Sherry Bug, you're looking at it. Don't look too long. Lightning and hail is coming up your way. If you're in that northeastern corner, it's about on top of you. So don't linger too long outside. All right, Lynn, see ya. Thanks for joining us. And our coverage on this page is not going to be as extensive as Michigan Storm Chasers either. We're going to probably pop off here at some point, even if severe is still ongoing. But we will let you guys know what to be concerned about, and we will post on the page and stuff like that. So no worries. But I do want to pop on here before it got too late in the night and let you guys know what's up. If you guys live in Ohio, you got storms heading your way with that severe risk tonight. Damaging winds, large hail, your primary two concerns. Low risk here for a tornado. Don't expect that to get too out of hand. Maybe one if we had to say in the state. And even then, the chance is quite low. So we'll see what happens. But just want to mention that. What's up, Julie? Goes from us to Shelby. Yep, Shelby will be in line for this. So I'm assuming they're going to probably reissue a warning here for Shelby Mansfield area. Again, I don't make the warnings. I just tell you guys what I'm seeing. But that storm is moving fairly rapidly through that Crawford County here. So there's your new scan. Man, Bucyrus is just getting hammered probably with hail just north of Bucyrus. Hail tracker is behind by 6 minutes. So we're going to wait for that to update. And these pop-ups near to the east of Norwalk here heading toward Elrya, Oberlin, LaGrange, Grafton, Wellington. You guys should be indoors as well. These are strengthening, about to merge. So definitely could see these turn into severe storms in the next couple of scans, or should I say minutes. I think 10 to 15 or so. It takes a bit for storms to mature usually. So they shouldn't, blow up immediately for severe, but it takes a second for these guys to get up and going. It's a tall cloud. Actually, we do have a chance to, let's look at this. I think we have a chance to see how high this is. Now, this is something that we don't utilize in Radar Omega, but it is a possibility we can use it here. Let's try and be cautious about this and see. It can lag real hard. This is your height of the storm clouds here, and it's lagging hard. So I'm just going to try and give you guys an estimate here. It looks to be right around 40 or so thousand feet. I don't have GR2 pulled up, which allows me to do a much better scan. But these storms are tall, and likely going to see tops here roughly 40 or so thousand feet. Take a peek back down here at that storm near West Liberty. Make sure we're not missing anything with that. Could see some gusty winds there. That statement is out for 45 mile per hour winds. Expires in 8 minutes. We'll see if they extend that. Although velocity on that would suggest there's still some gustier winds in there, but not like we were seeing earlier. If I go ahead and back this up, 20 or so scans, we're going to see that pocket of wind was definitely heavier earlier. I'm just going to let me go back that far. It's not, unfortunately. But still, we'll see what they do with that. But looks like the winds have gusted out there. Winds on the backside of this continue to strengthen here, heading into Bucyrus. So this area right here is likely your hail, and over Bucyrus, pushing up toward Tyro areas to northeastern Crawford. But behind the hail, looks like the winds are picking up with this. So it could be a 1-2 punch here for you guys with this storm. Yeah, Dennis, they really did since you last talked with me here. Yep, there you go. Warning now for western, not Cleveland, but the western suburbs here, Elraya, Wellington. We just talked about this. So these are going to be for quarter size hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour winds. The counties on those are going to be Huron, Medina, and Lorain counties, and the warning expires at 9:15 Eastern. So there you go. Dennis, yes, probably if they can maintain their strength, it'll probably go in toward the South Cleveland area. When can Western New York expect this? You got a long way to go for these. You're talking like the Lake Erie, like Buffalo area. Let's see if you're going to risk here. Yeah, so these storms are moving your way probably next, we're going to say 2 to 3 hours. You got a long way to go there. We can actually do this as well. Let's go ahead and pop on a model and do a future track on these. We're going to go back one model run here just because this isn't really picking up anything. There you go. There's 10 p.m. tonight. We have some storms arriving there in western New York. So 10 to 11 p.m. So you got, like I said, 2 to 3 hours. That seems like a pretty good zone there for you. And that's when they first come on shore. So if you're still inland a few counties, obviously add some time to that. But roughly that 10 to 11 p.m. time frame. All right, so these storms over that just blew up here, just to the west of Cleveland. Looking at the hail tracker on these, went from nothing to VIL here. That's showing some hail being possible. 3 distinct pockets here: Wakeman, Heartland, and back here towards Steuben, North Fairfield areas. Moving east northeast at roughly, I'll say, 35 miles per hour, according to the warning text. Bucyrus, though, does appear to be getting just to the west of Bucyrus, at least, looks like they're getting some pretty good hail. But again, that wind on the backside could also be of concern for you guys as well. Yeah, look at that. That's really picked up there last couple of scans. So Bucyrus, I'm going to assume you're either getting or about to get some gustier winds here. And that's going to push to the northeast towards, looks like it's moving more so almost eastward here. We're going to kind of track this a little bit more so eastward than we are going to do it northward. Go 40 on the speed here. So gusty wind arrival, Bucyrus here in about 4 to 5 minutes. North Robinson 15, Sulphur Springs in 15, DeKalb in 25 or so. And this is going to be for the heaviest wind part. Okay, so out ahead of that wind is the hail, which is probably already falling in some of those areas. All right, so we're tracking 2 parts of the storm here: the bulk, the core, where you see these purples, which is going to be your likely some large hail falling in there. On the back side of the storm, you have your wind. You guys can't really see that, but I'm drawing wind and hail. That's terrible. New warning just popped up here for this storm down here by Marion. We just talked about this one too. So we're going to pop in here real quick. Whose radar is better? It's right between these radars. All right, Cleveland it is. This is going to be for the counties of Morrow, Marion, and Crawford until 9:15. And again, quarter size hail and 60, quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds here, heading right in toward Marion. The bulk of this is heading between Big Island and Marion, over Greencamp, New Bloomington, areas between. What road is this? LaRue Prospect Road West is what that road is. Tracking this, zooming out, I'm going to put a loop on this. It's moving right toward Marion, unfortunately. Hail tracker on this. Come on, don't want that. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Not updated yet. We'll see what the next scan says. I'm assuming it's probably blown up there. So we're going to assume some large hail is about to move into the Marion. We have a good core of the storm here pushing in toward that area. So unfortunately, I'll have to kind of track that here. Bucyrus now looks like it's coming on the back end of that, so likely getting some gustier winds there. Radar indicating winds upwards of 40, upwards of 50 here in some spots. Just entering Bucyrus. Now, this isn't really exact. It could be just out ahead of this as well. So if you're in Bucyrus, I'm going to say you're likely getting some pretty strong winds, perhaps severe winds with this storm. But if you're to the north side of Bucyrus, you're probably getting some hail, but I might be calm wind-wise there. But you're about to get some wind, likely. So warnings are popping off here. This storm up here into the north, or we're going to say western Cleveland suburbs. Take a peek at the VIL on this. It continues to look impressive. Looks like this is going to be your dominant cell up here. We had two merge together. We'll see what that does. They may all merge into this line here. It's probably going to become one big line. It shouldn't propagate forward to give us too big of a wind risk, but isolated pockets within that line will likely gust, possibly severe. Yeah, I think it will, Dennis. South side of Cleveland, especially. But the good news is these storms should propagate more eastward with this line moving. So there's a chance that downtown Cleveland gets missed, depending on, I don't exactly know where you're at, 'cause Cleveland's actually a pretty big city. South side, west side, north side, east side. Let me know if you want to, and I can maybe guide you here. This storm is moving in toward that South Cleveland metro. We'll see if it continues to hold. But downtown Cleveland may be spared by this. Let me know what you see, Sherry. Be curious to see what that storm is doing. You're probably gonna get some hail first, though the hail looks like it's weakening there just a bit. So probably some small hail in there to begin, maybe severe. I'm not gonna rule that out. But behind it is when the wind should start picking up. So let me know what you see. And make sure you're staying safe too. Usually we don't advise people to go outside and watch storms. That's not what we're here for. It's the opposite. We want you guys to take shelter, be safe. So this is on your own will. Just be safe about it. So 3 warnings now in effect. Looking back south here, this line, there's a storm coming out of Dayton. Check the radar on these just to be safe. Make sure nothing's going unnoticed here. Not too much to write home about. Check this one as well. My chair stopped squeaking. Maybe. Just a bit. Some of you guys may understand, some of you guys may not. So Bucyrus looks to be in the heaviest winds now according to radar. We're going to bring up a GR2 here in the background. Stark County, you're going to be in the risk later on this evening, next probably 2 hours or so for you. 1 to 2 hours. Be alert, damaging winds, large hail is going to be your main concern with that. There is a low risk for a tornado, but I don't think we're going to be too concerned about that, just given what we're seeing right now on radar. That could change, but for right now, we're not too concerned about that. All right, we popped up GR2 in the background here. So what GR2 is basically just a more advanced radar product that we utilize quite often here in streams. We can do a lot with this. For example, we can do cross sections and get how storms are, look at the updrafts, stuff like that. Looking at these storms, though, looking at the updraft, it appears to be upwards, perhaps 50,000 feet. So really tall updrafts with these storms. I can show you guys what that looks like here in a second. We're looking at the storm over Bucyrus, for example. Let's go ahead and take that full screen just to show you guys what that looks like from a 3D slice. It's pretty cool. At least to me, it's cool. You guys may not be as cool, but this is your storm, basically. A 3D slice. And your feet, your height is, here on the right. Zooming in, 60s on top, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and surface. And we're looking at pretty good updrafts here within this storm. It's pretty gnarly looking. But the overall updraft is, just touching or just below 50,000 feet, which is pretty tall for a storm, especially one of like today. So rain, windy, no hail so far. It's good to hear. Good to hear. So good news about some of these areas. If you do have, we do have some airport radars to help us on the low levels of things, because these radars here, Cleveland's way up there and Wilmington's radar is way down here. There's only two radars in the state of Ohio. There's one down here and one way up here. Everything else is airport radars. We also have Pittsburgh's over here, gives us a little bit of help, but in the state of Ohio, only two radars that are utilized for weather, monitoring. So we have Dayton's right here that helps us a lot with low level stuff. Get a good slice back into this storm down here. And then we also have Cleveland's, which is up here, TLVE right here, which gives us a better look in the low levels. Looking at this storm, though, I just want to peek at this real quickly here near Wakeman, although I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. Where these reds and greens are meeting, there could be a little bit of rotation there. It's very weak. It's very, very weak. But we're going to monitor that just in case. Not seeing that too heavily here on Cleveland's radar, but again, the radar beam is lower with the airport radar here at TLVE radar. So just near Wakeman here, we're going to keep an eye on that. So 3 warnings here in effect still. No, you're not. It's unfortunate. We need a NWS radar in Lima or something, or Columbus. Columbus is too close to Wilmington, but Lima could use one, that general vicinity. Got a report coming out of looks like 2 or 3 miles east of Harpster, sorry, of a $half size hail, 1.25 inch. There's actually a radar gap up in Michigan as well, which people don't really talk about with elevation and stuff, but it's up here in the thumb. We have Cassett radar from Canada, and then we have DTX here, and both radar beams are several thousand feet in the atmosphere. So the word is we're going to get a radar up there. It's not going to be an NWS radar. It's going to be what we call Climavision radar, which is a third party. So we're not going to have access to it publicly, but the NWS will. So we'll have eyes, looks to be in Michigan here with that radar gap. Yeah, Sherry, I thought it would with the backside there. Winds are picking up on the backside. Not surprising with that. Looks like there's a pocket there just south of New Washington also that popped up. So we have 2 pockets to be concerned about. There's one up here between Tyro and New Washington. There's also one still down here by Columbus, Bucyrus, which is also pushing up your way. Again, all these warning boxes you see on your screen here are for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. We're not seeing much in the way of rotation with any of these storms, which is great news. We are keeping an eye just in case. That one up here by Wakeman does look to be pretty weak still. We're not going to come back to that, or we'll come back to that, should I say. But the concern right now, the heaviest storm does appear to be over that Bucyrus area. Looks like the hail on the backside is also picking up here as well. Pushing potentially more eastward now along 602, looks like, just north 602, just south Sulphur Springs, moving toward Bethlehem and DeKalb. Let's see if the VIL product's loaded on this, which is your hail tracker. Yeah, decent return there over Bucyrus. This is going to be heading up toward Tyro, Shelby, Sulphur Springs. What's up, Judy? Is anything coming to Lakeview? Nope. You are actually, before I answer that, I think you're behind these, but let me double check on that. You should be fine. Where are you at? There's Bellefontaine. Yeah, you're fine. You are A-okay back there. These storms are past you. No concern over there. A lot of lightning picking up here. Also, it might be a bit of rotation trying to pick up there too. Not tight. Just north of North Robinson, crossing 602. Well, keep an eye on that. Wouldn't shock me. But rotation so far that we've observed has been pretty weak. So the expectation is this will do the same. So if you're out ahead of these storms, you are in line for a potential severe threat tonight as this line does race. I'm not going to say race. It's going to meander to the east-northeast here. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, as well as large hail is your main concern. Is there a watch out at all for this? I don't think there is. There is not. I'm curious if they're going to put a watch out. If they're going to put one, they should do it any time. But they could use one, given that these storms are popping off like crazy. Do have a new special weather statement down here for that storm coming out of Dayton on the east side, heading towards South Charleston. Got a shear line going on there. Check that out. That is interesting. These reds and greens are kind of close but not meeting. That's what we call a shear line. It's a classic of QLCS nature, which is not really an expectation, especially with these small cells here. Keep an eye on that. Got a lot to cover here. A lot of warnings going on here. Just kind of bouncing back and forth, keeping you guys as best as we possibly can updated here. West Cleveland still in line for this line of storms here, pushing up. Looks like it's going to impact pretty much all of Cleveland now, but it's developing now on the north side there. That chair, you guys kill me. I knew you were going to have some people follow me over here. So, yeah. I'll get a new chair, guys. No worries. I'm going to wait a few days just in case somebody actually did send one. I don't think anybody did, though. I'll wait a few days just to make sure. Yep, Sherry, just severe for now. We're watching what may be some rotation trying to develop there. Although, I mean, we're really not really too concerning with that. It's very, very weak. But I will say the winds themselves are kind of on the stronger side here. A good pocket up here, moving out of that warning. And then one other pocket, or we're going to say a bigger pocket down here past Bucyrus, North Robinson, heading towards Tyro and Shelby again. So two localized areas and pockets there. Down here as well near Marion, getting the same signal here. Good pocket of heavier wind pushing up toward Marion, Clarendon areas. And again, these are all warned. 60 mile per hour winds, 1-inch hail. If you guys happen to go under a warning, move indoors. There's no reason to, go hunker down your basement, nothing like that. Just stay away from windows, be inside, and you'll be fine. Take a peek at velocity again up here in the Cleveland storms. Could be a downburst going on there. We'll check that out here. Is this old or what? 2 minutes old. We'll wait for the new scan on that. Got some pockets of heavier wind, but nothing that really concerns me here for severe. Now, severe is 58 miles per hour or higher. Now, this radar beam is quite close to the ground. And we're only getting 20, 30, maybe just over 30 in some spots there. With this severe storm heading into Cleveland. So it doesn't suggest wind is a big factor right now. I could be wrong with that, though. Radars are not perfect. But regardless, looks like there's some good-sized hail falling in that storm as it heads into Elrya, Wellington, then we get into the western Cleveland metro area, Strongsville, Parma. Not warned. Could use or may need additional warnings here. We'll let you guys know if it does. We'll see it pop up on the screen there and blink at us. This storm is moving out of this county. This is going to be Crawford County. It's going to be moving into Richland County. Looks like it's Richland here, as well as portions of Huron perhaps as well. We're going to watch that close, as that should pop in here. Looks like a new warning did just pop in. I'm not really sure. Okay, they upgraded this to $half size hail now for your storm there in Crawford County. Is this observed or is this indicated? It's radar indicated, so not confirmed, but they are seeing that the hail is picking up in intensity there. If you guys want to chip in, you're welcome to. You can go to the website, MichiganStormChasers.com, and there's actually a donate link via, I think it's PayPal, if you want to send that way. Just put in the notes if you can, for chair or whatever, if you want to do it that way. But you guys don't have to. I may have one coming to the P.O. box. I just don't know yet. I mean, if you guys, I see 4 or 5 comments here saying you guys want to chip in. If you guys want to, there is a donate link on the Michigan Storm Chasers website there. It's completely your discretion. Would expect them to extend this warning here into, I forgot that county name, Richland County. I'm expecting that to be any moment here. I'll draw it on the map, actually. This area right here. We're just going to play a guessing game here and see if I can get the box right. Because I'm assuming they're going to issue this, upgrade that warning from quarters to $half here. So we'll see how accurate my polygon is here. They may go ahead and warn the entire thing down to Mansfield too for that cell coming up from the south as well. Sherry starting to pea-size. Okay. The heaviest might just be off to your south as well. You said you're in northeast part of the county. Looks like the most heaviest right now is going to be just brushing that northeast part, mostly in the east central portion there, just to the west of Shelby now. I'm going to wait for that warning to pop in here. New scan coming around. All right. Waiting and waiting for this warning to pop in. I'm assuming they're going to issue it because they upgrade that warning to $half, and now they don't extend it. I'll be kind of shocked. We'll come back to that. I'm just kind of putting my guess out there as to where that thing's going to pop in there. But overall, these are moving into west suburbs of Cleveland now. We're going to take a peek at our velocity for any wind damage or anything like that. Still not really showing up as too heavy. A localized pocket here of maybe 40 or so showing up just north of Oberlin. That's about it. Down here, again, looking at some of these severe storms, getting reports of $half size hail out of the southern storm here near Marion. Still warned for quarters, though. They have not upgraded that. Waiting for that new warning to pop in here. If they don't, I'll be shocked. Something like that. Probably like that. Draw that again. They just expired that warning, actually. So we'll see what they do with this. The yellow and velocity scan. The yellow? Was there yellow and velocity? If you're talking yellow, it's still that warning polygon. I don't see any yellow besides that warning. So if you're seeing yellow, it's likely going to be this severe warning here. And then the greens and reds are inbound, outbound. So greens are going towards the radar, which is this way, being the radar's right here. And then reds are going away from the radar. So this wouldn't be rotation per se. This would be downburst type of winds here. It doesn't look too strong though. Any time now for that warning. I'm just assuming. I'm very curious. There you go. New warning. Waiting for that for a while. Quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. On the right of that warning, talking like right here, this box right here, that yellow. If it's that yellow we're talking about, that is a radar site. All right, back to that warning here. We're going to pop that out here real quick. It's going to be for northwestern Ashland, northern Richland, and southern Huron counties. This is going to go until what looks to be 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Down further south, looks like these storms are struggling just a bit to reach severe limits. Still could see some small hail and gusty winds within these, but right now they are remaining below concerning levels. So we have 1, 2, 3, technically 4 storms that are warned with 5 actual warnings here. This one likely to be expired here. They put a warning over a warning to upgrade that and also trim it back. So we're likely going to see extensions or cancellations here shortly as this line to the south moves out of that warning here. And then also up here further north, we're going to see if they extend. I'm assuming they're going to extend that into Cleveland here just because the population up there is quite large. So if anything happens to, quickly ramp up, they just want to be on their game for that. So would expect to see an extension there into the Cleveland Metro. Although nothing in the storm via wind-wise is concerning me. The radar beam is right here, and this is really close. This is only probably 50 to 100 feet, and maybe a couple hundred feet off the ground. So winds there are only picking up like 30 or so, which is only only half of what we need for severe criteria. So I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't extend that warning, but still the potential is there. Also, taking at the hail tracker on that, there very well could be a large hail core in there. Although that doesn't look too concerning either. Way back here, perhaps by Wakeman, maybe. But that's also 10 minutes old, so we're going to have to wait for the new scan on that to get an idea of what's actually happening there. Regardless, though, so Kevin, Parma might get warned. I believe Parma's up here. Yeah, that's what I'm just got done talking about that. I think it will actually, although I don't see anything too concerning with the storm. It is moving into a heavily populated area, and as precaution, typically they would extend that warning. So wouldn't be shocked if they did. Wouldn't be shocked if they don't, given that the storm doesn't look like it's severe at this point. Yeah, I was just looking at that, Julie. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of peeked my head outside there for a second. Really pretty sunset up there. Watching amazing lightning from the garage. Awesome. Love a good storm sometimes, as long as it's not doing damage. So hopefully that storm's not doing any damage for you. We're going to watch this area right here near Pittsfield, Kimpton, Oberlin, Camden. Just a little bit of something here that I'm going to keep an eye on. Looks like we have like a merger going on here with potential hook. This is getting stronger as well, up to about 40 or so now, heading in toward Brentwood Lake area. But on Cleveland's radar here, we are getting this little bit of a merger type of storm here with a little bit of an inflow notch. New scan here is going to tell us a lot. And that's still continuing here. We're going to watch that close. This is a potentially inflow coming in. This is kind of wrapping around. Could see something try to spin here. Wait for the new velocity scan to pop in here. We're going to watch that area. We're getting just a little bit of something here. Here it comes. Still continues. We're going to watch that area close. Reds are going away from the radar like this, if I can get this arrow to work correctly. So reds are going away, which would be that direction, and greens are going towards. So this is a little bit of spin here. Not strong. It's pretty weak. But with the overlap here on radar with that hook and everything, with that merger, it could be trying to spin something here. So we're going to watch that very closely. We're actually going to keep that here. And we're going to take a 2-panel look. And we're going to wait for the new scan. These scans are running every 3 minutes or so. So we're going to have to wait until 8:56 or so to get a new scan. Danny says he's in LaGrange. This is going to go north of you. It should at least go north of you, this area of interest. But you could still see some gusty winds with this. I don't really see much in the way of a hail threat, but this area, actually, we are getting some reports of 1-inch hail out of here, back here toward Wakeman. So we are getting some hail reports, believe it or not, but those are still off to your west there. So LaGrange, you should miss this pocket here of interesting wind velocity. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to keep it right here. We're actually going to switch over here to GR2 just because I want to have this ready, because GR2 can track this a little bit better than what we can. We're actually going to take a 4-panel look. This is going to be confusing to you guys, but this is going to help me, a lot. So we're going to wait a couple scans here. A good updraft to that storm. So we're going to wait right here for the new scan and keep it on this area. This is going to be into LaGrange area, Elraya, Eaton, Grafton, those general areas. LaGrange, though, I mentioned you're to the south of the storm. It doesn't look to impact you guys. So you guys should be fine. But just north of you be the area of concern. New warning now for the entire Cleveland area. Quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds just popped in. So this is going to be Cuyahoga County. Probably butchered that. And also Lorain County until 9:45. New scan is coming in now. Looks like it did weaken just a bit, but still concerning. We're going to wait for the new scan here on GR2 to pop in. Hopefully it's just a one and done type of deal, which is usually what happens with cell mergers. There's a new scan on the top left. We're going to wait for the big one here. This is going to be your velocity scan to see what it's doing here. Pop out here. Okay, new scan loaded for Radar Omega. So good news is it's weakened out. So we can hop off GR2. I'll let it load in here for you guys to see it. Should be any second here. But it did weaken out. Just so you guys could get the progression of this. There it goes. So 1, 2, 1 done type of deal. Good news. We'll watch it though, just in case. Let's go ahead and switch back over to Omega. All right. So what I'm going to do here with this is I don't want to be live all night. We've been on here for about an hour and 10 minutes already. I'll be on here for a few more just to make sure nothing gets too crazy. But I'm not going to stay on here for hours tracking just severes across the state. If anything goes tornado warned, that's different. But not really expecting that to happen tonight. It's a chance, low chance. So right now, these storms are just producing some gusty winds, large hail. That's about it. We're going to keep an eye on this area up here. Looking at the line through here, doesn't look to be too terribly impressive, although this area near Shelby has an inflow notch here with a little bit increased. This is actually a pretty good example here. We're seeing that. Here's your inflow. There's your increased winds. There's your winds coming back around. Could be something there as well. But I don't think it has the juice to do it tonight. Really don't. What about that red to my west? Lagrange turned into a storm. Let's take back that area up there real quick. So Lagrange, yes, it has formed into a line. The area I was talking about there for a brief minute was that area pocket of brief rotation here. It's moving off to the north there, but looking to your west, yes, you do have a line that is developing and has developed into a pretty good line there. So you're about to get rain and probably some gusty winds, small hail likely. Although this down here, a pocket of some hail, looking at where you're at, looks to be heading either towards you or just to your south. We'll see how that trends. This area down here is where I'm watching, this purple area that's moving more so directly your area there. If that holds out, could see some large hail with that, as well as gusty winds, but that could also shift here. So we'll watch that here. We'll stay on and track that for you. And also as it tracks towards the Cleveland area here. So gorgeous sunset up here. Lots of warnings out here, guys. Lots of warnings. There's currently none of these warnings have a possible tornado tag, which is great news. But we are seeing reports of large hail out of these storms at the very least, and also some gusty winds. Have not gotten any reports of wind damage. We have actually one tree down on power line. It's not a gust report, but it's more so a damage report. North Fairfield, Ohio, as of a couple half hour ago or so. That's the only report I see for wind. So these look to be more so a hail producers over wind producers. New day one convective outlook just dropped. In fact, they just trimmed back the slight risk all the way up to the Cleveland and east areas towards Erie, not too Erie, or actually, yeah, to Erie, but not to Buffalo. So that's Canton, Akron, Youngstown, Cleveland, all included in that slight risk. And then the entire other half of Ohio is in a level 1 risk. So basically what they're saying is this line is all we're going to worry about tonight. I don't think it's loaded yet, but I will load it here and see if it pops in. Nope, that's your old outlook here. They trimmed this entire slight risk back to like roughly this area where I'm circling up there. Okay. That's your main concern area. That's going to be out ahead of this line. It's pushing up. So we'll wait for that to pop in. I'll leave it up on the screen here. It should update automatically. Maybe. We'll leave it off for now. We'll pop it back on once it comes in. So Lorraine, where are you guys? Or Lagrange, where are you guys at? There you are. You're about 5 or 10 minutes away from the main line hitting you. But then also we got to worry about this hail core back here coming towards you. Hopefully it weakens out. And there's your hail tracker. Where you see these brighter colors here, especially in purples and whites sometimes and grays, that's your larger hail. You could see some hail out of these as well. But the main concern is going to be where these brighter colors are down here. Pittsburgh, yes, you are in a risk tonight as these storms move your way. They should be weaker by the time they get to you. As sun goes down, we lose storm fuel. So they should be on the weakening trend here as we get into our nighttime hours. But still be alert tonight if you are in Pittsburgh. Got some pockets of heavier wind here, moving in these warning boxes, really localized. North of Lagrange here, between Elrila, Lagrange, Elria, sorry, 30 to 40 or so. Then back here, getting a spike, a very localized spike, what could be up to 50 or so, just to the basically riding 20 near Oberlin. So that's pretty localized here. Otherwise, besides those two areas, no big wind risk I'm seeing with that right now. Would be concerned for that line coming in, especially down here near Heartland. Got some good sized hail near Fitchville, heading basically right up toward LaGrange area. Unfortunately, we'll watch. We'll watch that. Hearing thunder in the distance. Further downstream, can't forget you guys down here with these warnings going on still. Whoopsies, that radar is offline because we had to settle with Cleveland's radar here. Up there by Mount Gilead, Lexington, Mansfield, you guys are next in line. Ashland, West Salem, Medina, you guys are all next in line for these storms. There is a couple weaker areas of this line we're watching, but these all are capable of producing large hail tonight with some risk for damaging winds, although it doesn't really look like that risk is developing as they thought. So hail should be your primary risk tonight, followed by damaging winds and a very low chance of a spin-up tornado. A little good for like one scan there, and it's just kind of weakened back out. Cadillac has a pop-up? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The cold front's passed. How? How? Hold the phone. How? It's behind the front. Is the front stalled or what's going on with this? Where's my fronts? There it is. Your front's passed. My goodness. Your blue line there is your cold front. That's what's driving these storms down here in Ohio. Up here, how is there stuff happening in Michigan? That's my... Okay. I don't know. I have no idea. No, I don't expect that to be severe, guys. I don't expect a storm in general. But I guess for Michigan's sake, we'll watch it. But that's baffling to me. Only answer is there's a residual instability maybe, and the cap may have weakened. Thank you, Sherry, for your donation of to the PayPal there. Appreciate you. I believe Sherry's actually in here. Yeah, I think it's the same Sherry. I'm assuming it's the same Sherry. So appreciate you. All right, back up here to LaGrange. You're on that line, the edge of that line here, but it's closing in fast to your west. Could be about 10 more minutes for you if you're still watching from LaGrange. You're still in that warning here. Checking on everything velocity-wise. Yeah, thank you, Sherry. Appreciate you. Velocity-wise, doesn't look too concerning for this storm. I'm more so concerned for hail. There could be some gustier winds here with these brighter colors. That's your higher winds. Whether those are getting down to the surface or not, I don't know yet. Wouldn't be shocked they put a warning out for this area right here. In fact, I'd expect that actually to pop in, judging by these trends here. Actually, I guess I wouldn't. These are kind of weakening here. If you notice, there's the storm down here by Ashland went from 60 dBz down to about 40 or so, 45. So good news there. But for the winds, wouldn't be shocked they put a warning here, or at least a statement here for some winds. Yeah, this looks like some pretty heavy winds now here. There's a gust front coming in here. Not sure if this area is reaching the ground, but this area back here might be. This area be a concern, just because we have a little bit of a line through here. You can see it right here, moving through, and that's your gust front. And behind it, we're getting some decent winds here. So these are 60, 70. These are not close to the ground per se, but there definitely could be reaching the ground. Let's take a peek at this radar here and see what this shows. This is our closer. Yeah, here we go. We're getting some isolated pockets here off the airport radar. This is a great news about having an airport radar. With that being closer to the ground, we get a better idea of what's happening. So three areas now we're concerned about for some damaging winds. One here heading into our Brentwood Lake. There's your first pocket. Take that off. Thank you. Second pocket down here, Pittsfield, Camden, just to the west of LaGrange, pushing almost south a little bit. So LaGrange, you might be getting into some winds here momentarily, although this should stay to your north. What road is this? 303 Wakeman Belden Road. It should stay between that road and US 20 here. But behind it, near Clarksfield, this is your main concern for right now. That's pushing directly towards you in LaGrange. And that's indicating here on radar that winds are right around that 60 to 70 zone. So, outside that area, though, looking further to the south, we are getting those storms still warned, although they are weakening. This one in particular is weakening quite significantly near Shelby. We had that 60 dBz in purples here. Now we're looking at just yellows. You can tell it's weakening tremendously. Great news. But other parts of the line down here near Galion, Mount Gilead, Cardington, still in existence here. Warning still in place here. 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail. The main concern is up here. We do have that viewer here from the LaGrange area. We're going to keep an eye on this for you as it moves your direction. More concerned here for the wind risk right now. This one's heading almost still due east here, so this may actually impact LaGrange. We'll see what happens. Entering Pittsfield, getting pockets 40, 50, perhaps upwards of 55 or so. Looks like it's going to max out there at about 50. And that's moving pretty much due east there towards you. But this is where we're concerned about back here by Clarksville. See lightning now? Yep, lightning just to your north there. If you're in LaGrange itself, you got two strikes, a couple strikes to your north there. Further north, you got a lot going on to your north. Also got some to your west as well. So it's closing in on you. Although it looks like the bulk of this wind is going to pass. The bulk of the storm is going to be more so wind-based, not hail-based, which is good news. Check out VIL really quickly here. It should be on the downtrend from what I'm seeing with this. I don't know why it does that. Yeah. So this is on. What we had back here has weakened significantly, and this one is heading to your north. So hail's not too big of a concern. Some small hail possible. What about that storm in Cadillac? What's it doing up there? There's a lightning strike with it too? How? I'm confused. It's on the weakening trend though. Like it's on the how. That's all I'm going to say is how. Anyway. Alrighty. I'm going to leave it right here since this storm looks to be the only real storm here worth watching too much about, or mentioning at least. Other storms look like they're quite weak in nature. All right. Wait for new scans. All I can do for you. Weather is crazy. Is it still happening down there by you, Sherry? Let's take a peek at this. It should be out of your county. But yes, the weather is great. Oh, you're probably referring to the storm up in Cadillac, Michigan. I got you now. Yeah, weather can be interesting sometimes. That cold front is what usually drives these storms. You can see it pretty well defined on satellite. Look at the satellite behind the scenes, but this blue line indicates where that cold front is. That's what's driving these storms across Ohio. So behind it is stable air. Sometimes you can get showers behind it, like just pop up showers. But storms like that, we actually had a few lightning strikes. That's pretty rare, especially so far behind that front. I don't know the exacts that are happening there. I haven't looked at like mesoanalysis to get an idea of what's happening into like the surface and stuff. But offhand, I just don't know what to tell you with that. All right, take a peek back at our wind velocity. Looks like the heaviest is starting to go north of Lagrange. Um, Assuming you live right in Lagrange, Donnie. 2 pockets of wind. Looks like they just put a new warning out here. Pretty wide warning. 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. Your heaviest winds are going to be over Camden, Pittsfield. They head up into Oberlin area. Excuse me. When you talk for an hour and a half straight, your voice starts to get scratchy, and so bear with me here. A lot of respect for people who do this and broadcast meteorologists, stuff like that, who have to talk for hours on end. Your voice just gets raspy after a while. But yeah, Lagrange right now, 2 pockets of wind to watch. One's going to your north, looks like, so you're good in that sense. Looks like the ones that were heading toward you are kind of splitting off to your north as well. So this may miss you. We'll see. We're probably about another 5 minutes away. You may be getting some rain right now, though. Oh, it's just off to your west. Okay. So it's probably sprinkling right where you're at there. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Warnings can overlap and stuff. They're not perfect. I'm actually just glad they went through the from the county base to a polygon based warning, so they can draw, instead of just having to warn the entire county, they can actually draw portions of the counties, which is great. A great tool to have. The airport radar is showing closer winds to the ground here, but the Cleveland radar is saying that these winds are picking back up here heading toward Lagrange. So we're going to watch this. This is the airport radar. We're getting winds in this line over here, upwards of 60, 65 or so. But if we switch over here to the Cleveland radar, a bit higher off the ground, these winds are cranking in a wider area. So regardless, Lagrange, Wellington, Oberlin, Grafton, Eaton, Litchfield, you guys need to be indoors, away from windows, and expect 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds with this as it moves through. We're going to assume that those winds are there on the surface. They're being picked up by both radars, although they're more localized on the airport, closer to the ground radar, which is what we want to see. Spotter report of 1-inch hail in Alria. Is it Alria or Alria? Thank you for that. I lost it. Where'd it go? I know it's here somewhere. Oh, okay. There it is. Thank you. Yep, you're right. You must be watching Omega or some other form of a radar there, unless you're just looking at my screen and noticed it, but you must be pretty fluent in radar talk. Illyria? Is that how you say it? Illyria? Illyria? That sounds more like it. Illyria. Okay. Well, luckily the storms are past that zone, so we're not going to mention that name anymore. Oh my goodness. The Squeak summons storms. You guys have way too much fun on this. I can reduce that background noise though. You should not be able to hear it now. Flood warning now in effect for the Cleveland metro area, or actually, sorry, the West Cleveland metro area. Illyria is included. Illyria. I'm done. I'm just not going to say that name anymore. Oberlin, Grafton, Eaton. This general. Actually, let's go ahead and shade this in for you guys. So you guys can see it better. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. I think. There we go. Perfect. So this good old green box here that just popped up, that's going to be your flash flood. Is it? Okay, yeah, it's a flash flood warning. Central Lorain County until 12:15 tonight. So until midnight tonight. Julie, thank you for that. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Squeak, squeak. All right, back to Lorain, or I keep saying Lorain. It's LaGrange. You do have some pockets of heavier wind there pushing in your way. This is as of now. New scan just came in. It's current 9:20. These are pockets here of heavier wind there, so likely going to be pushing into LaGrange here in the next, we're going to say 2 to 3 minutes. Starting to pour, yep, and the rain or the wind will pick up with that as well. It's okay, Sherry. We got it. I got it. Yeah, Omega is a great product to use if you're fluent in radar stuff like that. If you're more beginner, radar scope is good, but Omega, as you grow and learn, has a lot more features. Another warning looks like down here a flood advisory for Bucyrus area. The county is going to be Crawford County. So flood advisory there for Crawford expires again at that. Looks like going to be 12:15 tonight. Back up here for LaGrange. The gust front here is still just off to your west. Waiting for the new scan. It's probably going to be on top of you here any second. Let me know what you see there. Donnie, hope you're inside. Hunker down there. Shouldn't be too bad. 40 or 50. Shouldn't do too much of any significant concerning things to your house, but definitely be inside for that. New scan there. It's still to the west of town here. So assuming you live in LaGrange itself, where it says LaGrange on the map, your gust front is just off to the west. Why? Gust front is just off to the west here. Take back the radar here. There we go. So these brighter areas is where the heavier winds are. Gusts might be close to 70 back here by Pittsfield. Let's see what this is. Yeah, 73 back here by Pittsfield. That's insane. And that's moving up your way as well. So winds may actually be a little bit more intense if you get in that pocket there. Looks like it just kind of spread out a little bit further there. So yeah, so that's a little concerning. 1560 is potentially takes down trees. 70 could take some shingles off your house if if your roof line's angled in the right direction, stuff like that. It takes a lot to get that to happen, but still, uh, it's pretty much on the west side of Lagrange right now. Okay, thank you, Sherry. I'll take a peek at those. Once the storm passes Lagrange for you, I'm probably gonna hop off here just for I know we have somebody from that area watching us. We have a couple warnings down here by Mansfield. Uh, going to be for again quarter size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then these two warnings up here for the Cleveland Metro. A lot of rain with this, really, but a lot of wind as well. Definitely get some wind popping up in this. I hope I caught myself there. Power just flickered. I'm not surprised given the latest couple scans there of that velocity picking up. Looks like the last scan does take it a bit out. So right now the strongest we're seeing is 30, 44, 49. Around 49 though. There is some stronger winds up here to your north. You're going to miss you upwards of 50 or so. So it's in Lagrange right now, passing over you. So let me know when it dies down for you. Hopefully you're okay there. It doesn't look too terribly concerning passing over you. Windy and pouring now. Okay. Other than that little area of, or should I say, pockets of stronger winds here, we're not really seeing too much else that concerns us with these storms. Just got some pockets of heavier wind there. Looking at the hail tracker on this, I haven't looked at that in a second. Yeah, the hail threat with this is quite low as well. This is more just heavy rain showing up. If you want hail, you want to see those big, brighter colors like up here on the lake. That's likely hail falling. But down here, there's just some yellows. Not too concerned for that. Regardless, though, urban flooding is definitely a threat with this. 100%. Yeah, it's passing over you now. The worst should be out of here in about 3 minutes or so, Donnie. Appreciate you guys hopping on here and joining me for an hour and a half so far. Actually, about an hour 45 at this point. Um, I know we kind of slacked for you guys who live out of state. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois all had threats, and the staff here at GLSCN is more focused on Michigan because we're from Michigan. So that will always come first. But we are expanding our operations here. We should be up and going, hopefully, sometime this year, full time with streaming and stuff like that. But um, we're just not to the point where you do it full time at this point. We're getting close, though. So just want to say apologies to those of you who are used to watching the stream severe, and we have been on here for 10, 15 days. So it's been a very active stretch here in the Great Lakes region, and more is to come. Yeah, Donnie, it's should be past you at this point. Just passing over you. Appreciate you, Dawn. You as well, Sherry. Also, thank you for you guys' support of the Squeaky Chair Fund. hopefully by next stream or next, I can't really say next stream because we're probably gonna be streaming on Friday, to be honest with you guys. And then also potentially Sunday as well. You want to hear the duck one more time? All right. It's not as squeaky today. It's still there. It's not as squeaky, but it's still squeaky. All right, let's go ahead and take a wide shot here and go over a few things. You guys still watching if you're out ahead of these storms. So there is a severe risk tonight. Go ahead and overlay the risk area from the SPC. Wrong tab. Bear with me. Wrong tab again. Bear with me. There we go. It still has an update? Okay, it did. Okay, cool. All right, this yellow area up here is your level 2 risk. That's going to be your biggest concern. Outside that, back here in the greens, anywhere from Pennsylvania, New York, back through southern Ohio, Kentucky, back through southern Indiana. You guys all have a low risk for severe tonight. These storms should weaken as they move east, but they may still hold out for a few hours longer. Youngstown, Akron, Canton, all the way through Pittsburgh, Meadville, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, anywhere Ashtabula, Cleveland proper still has some storms to get through here as well. These are likely going to be damaging winds, large hail. I think the threat for hail is a little bit higher right now than damaging winds, but again, it's going to kind of flip-flop back and forth. Depends on what time you get the storm. They should weaken as the sun goes down. We lose storm fuel. So expect a weakening trend, but still have a few hours here of severe weather as this treks eastward across north central and northeastern Ohio into Pennsylvania. And again, your hazards are still damaging winds, large hail, very low threat for a tornado. I don't know if they actually took that out. I'll check that real quick. They kept the 2% tornado risk here in green. So they are saying that these storms may produce a tornado or two. If I'm still awake and it happens to go warned, I'll hop back on here to cover. But do be prepared for that just in case. It is a low risk, but it's still a risk nonetheless. All right. 3 warnings here in effect still down here by Mansfield, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail moving up toward Ashland, Worcester eventually, Shreve as well. And then the other warnings here moving through the west central Cleveland metro area, Parma. I'm not going to say that forbidden word. Eaton, Grafton, Brunswick, North Royalton, all the way up through Cleveland proper, East Cleveland, Bedford. You guys are in this warning here. Quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It expires anywhere from 9:45 to 10:15 at this point. So just pay attention. A lot of gusty winds here. Some small hail definitely possible. Getting some good gusts here still in Eaton, just north of LaGrange. So definitely could see some gusty winds with this. Large hail as well. Look at the hail product here. There's not really too much of concern, but still that does consider to be a threat this evening, or as we get towards sunset hours and after. All right. With that being said, I'm going to hop off here. Appreciate you guys watching. About an hour and 50 minutes on here streaming. We'll have updates for you guys next couple of days. There's a severe threat Friday for Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and South Wisconsin. Saturday could be a risk in Illinois. And then Sunday could be a risk for a large portion of the region, including South Michigan, South Wisconsin, as well as most of Indiana and Illinois and Western Ohio. Active stretch weather continues, and we'll try to keep you guys updated as best as possible. All right. You guys have a good night, and I'll be back on here tomorrow to give you guys updates. Stay safe, guys.